How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yeah. Hello. Welcome to the Church of RNK. My name is Rosemary, Nonny. Pleasure to be here with you this evening. I'm going to start right out with the affirmation today. I'm just trying to see if I can. Let's share this thing. I will do that in a second, but I'm going to start with the affirmation today. You know what? I'm going to come back. I'm going to share it on here, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to start by the affirmation. You ready? You ready? Hey, so yes, let's get to this. Woo! I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. I choose to believe that I am loved. Okay, so why am I talking about love today? Here I am. I always talk about these random things I sometimes think, or is it just my crazy head that thinks that these things are random, except I know that they're not, okay? I know that these things are not random because talking about love and feeling loved and being that person who receives love into your life, it is incredibly important. I see so many people, and I was this person for the longest possible time, where you don't actually feel you deserve to have the good things of life. You don't actually believe that you can have the good things of life. And the root of that belief, that the root of that feeling for you is simply because you weren't loved. You didn't feel loved coming up or being brought up. You didn't get loved in the way you needed to be loved by your parents, okay? And this isn't some kind of, let's all bash the mummies and the daddies of the world, because this is it. A lot of us here are our parents ourselves, and we know how hard it can be to be a great parent, but everybody has high hopes, right? But this is it. We cannot, just because we don't want to spend time bashing our parents, and this isn't about that at all. It is about simply accepting the fact that something in the very foundation of you wasn't right. That's just the truth of it. And sometimes it's a hard thing to actually accept because, again, you don't want to, we are loyal to our families. We're loyal to our parents, at least most of us are. Some of you, maybe the relationship has broken down so much that you don't really feel that loyal. And in fact, in my family, I'm sure that people would say to me that I'm not particularly loyal to certain things. But I'm not, I suppose, and I am, because there's still a longing inside of each one of us to feel that acceptance, that knowledge that someone actually truly cares for us, truly wants us to do well, truly believes in us. And if you don't have that underlying feeling inside of you, it's really hard to play full out. Some people actually go the completely opposite way, where they because they don't feel the love and the feeling that they're good enough, they go all out to prove to the world and to prove to everyone that they are, okay? And so then they create success, because when it comes down to it, business success is straightforward. You know, you get your stuff, you have something good, you can put it in front of enough people, you will sell enough. As long as you keep asking people to buy, you will sell, okay? It gets complicated when human beings kind of get involved, and then we come with our hang-ups. So there are those that are willing to kind of almost forget how they feel, except that they have this driving energy to prove to the world that they are worthy, okay? And so then they go all out and they play the games and they do whatever is necessary to prove to the world that they're enough, that they are good enough, that they deserve to be loved. Doesn't actually fill the empty place inside of them, but at least they're rich. Okay, and so from that angle they can feel something. But yeah, there are rich people who are very, very empty, and there are poor people who are very, very empty as well, and there are people in the middle as well who are very empty as well. Because when it comes down to it, if you didn't have that foundation, and this is it may not even be that your parents didn't love you. They may have loved you the way they thought you needed to be loved, but then that's not the way you needed to be loved. And so you didn't receive it as love, even though they were trying to give you love. So you now, as an adult, there's a broken part inside of you that, for a lot of you listening in to me, you are not one of those that can just kind of ignore it and just go all out and try and make all the money just to prove anything to anybody, because you just can't. You're not that person. You are more likely to be the person who says, you know what, I'm not sure that I deserve all of this. I'm not sure that I should. I'm not sure that I'm allowed. I'm not sure. Because you're probably a spiritual person as well, and you're also longing to feel that feeling from spirit too, that you're acceptable. But usually we translate how we felt with our families and with our parents to our relationship with spirits as well. So some of y'all are struggling even to have some kind of intimate connection with spirit, because there's a part of you that says the words, yeah, I'm loved, but you don't actually believe it. And I know it sounds all, because even as I'm talking about this stuff, I know for a lot of people it is kind of wishy-washy stuff when you want to, try and grow a business and you're trying to, impact lots of people and live out your dreams and all of this stuff. But I'm bringing you back to the grassroots here, because if there is a part of you that feels unloved, uncared for, one, you probably struggle to love and care for yourself, one, because there's a part of you that thinks, well, if the person who was supposed to love me the most was unable to, then do I actually deserve to be loved or cared for? Do I deserve to have the wealth that I dream of? Do I deserve to live the dream that inside of my heart? You will feel resentful in some ways even about the fact that you have big ideas and big dreams that you don't seem to be able to make happen, because you're coming from this place of, I just don't seem to be able to make things happen, okay? And it must be something to do with me. There's something wrong with me at the very essence of me. But you don't say that consciously. I get that. But you're listening to these words and there's a part of you thinking, oh my gosh, maybe that is how I feel. Maybe that is what has been holding me back. And maybe you're here listening because Spirit wants you to hear. Honeys, this is the Church of RNK. Yeses, amens, absolutely acceptable in the comments. I want to hear from you guys. Is anybody resonating with what I'm saying here? Or am I just talking to myself, basically? But I have been one of those people that struggled a lot with this sensation of feeling loved. This feeling that actually I'm just completely cared for. Now, I've always been someone who longed to be spiritual. I wanted to understand the deeper things of life. Even from when I was like 6, 7, 8, I was reading the Bible. I was trying to figure out stuff. And I know now that a lot of it came from the fact that I was looking for love when I wasn't really finding it around me at that age. And I know my parents were trying their best, okay? I'm not blaming anybody here, but it is the way I felt. That is the way I felt, okay? And so, and it's also not the kind of thing, thanks for the thumbs up, it's not even the kind of thing that you even really talk about, as I was brought up in Nigerian. It's not the kind of thing you talk about. We just talk about achievement and making things happen. And, well, you don't even talk about making things happen. You just go to school and do really well, basically. And as long as you do really well and you make your parents proud, then in theory you should be fine. But it's not the truth. It's not the truth, okay? And for a long time, until I was like 25 or something, I didn't even see the need to be loved in that way. It was just one of those things that other people complained about, and I just thought, oh, for goodness sake, you guys are being weak and this and that and the other. It's just as I grew up, as I had children, I started to realize that actually no, it is an essential foundation on which to build a life. If you do not feel at the heart of you that you were cared for, that you were loved by the people who brought you into this planet, you will struggle. You will feel that emptiness. You will keep trying to be something that you're not. You'll keep trying to keep everybody happy. You'll be this person for this person over there. For somebody else, you show a different side of you. For somebody else, you show a different side of you. Always trying, hoping that people will care for you in the way that you need to. You start looking for love from your clients, from your customers, from your anywhere. You just want people to acknowledge and to love you. But it's not even but you never feel it. One, because you're never yourself. Okay? Because this is it. You know that even if somebody did care for you, you know that you've not shown up. And so you know that they love this facade of you, not the real you. And so there's an internal battle going on with you that some of you don't even recognize, okay? Because unfortunately, a lot of people walk through life not really understanding why they act the way they act. And even when they're told, they don't want to hear it because it's hard. It's hard emotionally to really hear what could be holding you back. And so you hold on to these dramas and to this nonsense inside of you instead of recognizing that you could start to release yourself. You could start to release yourself. For some of you, it will be literally a click of the fingers and you suddenly see what has been holding you back, and you'll just open up and accept love into your heart, because there is an abundance of love around you, okay? There is an abundance of love around you. If you're a spiritual person, if you're not a spiritual person, I really don't know how you how you get through this stuff some of the time, but I'm sure there's a way. But it's also but even for the spiritual person, it's one thing to, you know, turn up at your religious organization, pretend to feel what they say you should feel, but it's another thing to actually feel it. I know it took me till, like, what was it, 2000 and I think it was just before I had my first baby, that I really, truly, really, in the very heart of me, this was about 2007, 2006, 7, something like that, I read the book The Shack. If you guys haven't read The Shack, some of you, that will be eye-opening for you. And that guy that wrote that book, man, he's just awesome. Okay. The Shack. That book just kind of really, really helped me see, really. Because, I mean, I had a first awakening to love when I came to the UK and joined this church called the Jesus Army. That church just really, like, you know, that was probably the first time someone hugged me without wanting something in return, or without any agenda. They just hugged me because they literally wanted to spread love. And that for me was like, oh my gosh, I can be loved in this way. I can be loved in this way. And I will be forever grateful to that lady, Marie. She just, forever grateful to her for the way she made me feel. Just that feeling that I was good enough to be loved. Okay, I was about 17 at this point, and that made a huge difference to my life. It started me on a journey, and I recognized that actually, well, I knew that God had brought me to that place for a season, for that reason, for me to open up to the fact that I am actually loved. I am loved. I mean, my parents told me, kinda, you know, they tried. But that was one of the first times that for me was like, oh my gosh, I am. And then I read the book The Shack when I was in 2006, 2007, something like that. And that just like laid me open. I realized that I'd been trying so hard to earn affection with spirit, with God, with who I called Papa. I've been calling him Papa since I was about 5, 6, 7, 8 years old or something. And yet I'd never really, really known that actually I was loved. Loved to the core of me. And you know what, after that, I kind of took time out from church, took time out from everything to really, really understand, really know the love that I was surrounded by. And I still have had moments, and you know, I've been part of different things here, there, and everywhere, and I've even had a coach who really saw that emptiness inside of me and kept trying to call me up to recognize that you know, Rosemary, you are loved. And help me start to see where the roots of a lack of love would have been dropped into my spirit as I was growing up. For some of you, nobody's done that for you, okay? I put myself in these situations to allow myself to experience what it is like to love. But then at the same time, I also feel I was guided to certain people, to certain situations, to certain whatever. Whereas for a lot of you, you've shut down even more than I have or had. Okay? And so you're struggling, you're wanting things to work, you're really longing for more. You have these big ideas inside of you, but there's also this big part of you that really, truly doesn't feel you deserve it. And so you start to do some of the work and then you stop. You start to do a little bit of this and then you stop. You go back to the familiar place because the familiar place at least is predictable. Even if you don't feel loved in that familiar place, it's the devil you know. And you know what, honey? I'm calling you out into the more, into what is possible for you. I know this isn't necessarily for everyone, but you know what? I don't even care. I'm only speaking to certain ones of you. And there's 334,000 of you that particularly need to hear what I'm saying here. Because there is an open wound inside of you that needs to be healed. There is an open wound inside of you that Spirit longs to minister to. But you won't let him. One, because maybe you're probably that leader in your religious organization and you're supposed to feel good. You're supposed to have it all together already. But if you're honest, you don't. If you're really honest, there is an emptiness inside of you, and no matter what words you speak, no matter what, whatever, you are not really feeling it. And then, yeah, you want to impact lots of people, but you don't know how. You can't. Because there is a broken part inside of you. And you are worried that people will see it and they will despise you for it. You don't recognize that actually you are called, you are loved, there is a purpose for your life, and it is because you've gone through this nonsense that you are exactly the person to make it happen. Now affirm with me again, even though I may have forgotten the affirmation. I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. I choose to believe that I am loved. And again, I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. I choose to believe that I am loved. And yes, like most things, honeys, this is a choice. Because I can tell you right now that Spirit does long to help you experience what it feels like to be loved, so that you can do the work that you're here to do, so that you can start to speak the words that you're here to speak. You can start to impact the people you're here to impact. You can start to create the wealth you know you want to create. But in order for you to do that, you're going to have to release the pain, the weirdnesses, the hard talk well delivered. Thanks, Toxie. You're almost addicted now to feeling unloved, because that is all you've ever known. Okay? It's all you've ever known, and there's a part of you that even sees it as weakness to acknowledge that you don't feel loved. And yet, hopefully, as you see me just talk about this stuff openly, that you will start to recognize that actually, you're a leader, you need to be healed. Leader, you need these wounds to be sealed. And it starts by making a choice, one, to believe that there's an abundance of love and there's no reason why you are outside of that abundance. You are not outside of the abundance. It may feel like it at times, but it is not the truth. The truth is there is an abundance of love and you can step into it at any moment. Yes, you may need actual physical support from someone to really help you to really start to really feel it, or maybe like me and be like a book. But you know what? It wasn't just a book. It was also the fact that I worked with someone to really get this stuff deep down in my heart. And I know it's an ongoing journey because, yeah, the roots that are built inside of you when you're a child, they sometimes run very deep. And not everybody will get this as well, because I did work with another coach who didn't get the fact that I felt somewhat incomplete inside of me because this person had gone through had a family life where she knew that she was cared for and loved and all of that stuff, whereas I came from a completely different place. Now, that is not an excuse ever to not play full out. However, the truth of the matter is that I have certain things, or I've had certain things to overcome that somebody else who had had an awesome childhood would never have to overcome. Same will go with you. Okay, so there you are. You may be comparing yourself to someone who has an awesome family life, an awesome parents, awesome all of that stuff, and you're comparing yourself to them and wondering why you don't seem to be able to get ahead in the same way that they do. It's because you have these open wounds inside of you, and it's not to say that you cannot get ahead. It's just that, you know what, the quicker you get to healing them, the quicker you'll get to getting ahead. Okay? So instead of avoiding them and trying to pretend that they don't exist there, honey, and I know if you come from some kind of, ethnic minority, whatever that means, basically, it is going to be one of those things that for you to even admit that kind of stuff out loud will take some doing, okay? I see too many people walking around trying to be all that, trying to pretend they don't have this stuff going on inside of them. But I watch their life and I can see the pain all around them. I can see them running away from their actual destiny because it's too unsafe. Because when it comes down to it, they don't feel love. They felt abandoned. It's almost like, yeah, an orphan spirit. No one cares for you, so you best be looking after yourself, best be, covering up all your wounds, best be pretending nothing can reach you, and thanks for sharing, Toxie. You best be all of that stuff that people do to hide the pain. I think it's time that you said you're done. Because, honey, there is a world waiting for you to wake up. There is a world waiting for you to wake up. Spirit is waiting for you to open the doors so that you can come in and love you up. But it starts with a decision. It starts with a decision that you're no longer going to hide. That you're going to accept the fact that, you know what? I need to work this stuff out. It doesn't make you weak. It doesn't. It's not going to leave you broken. No. Love will always encourage self-confidence. Absolutely. When you know at the core of you that you are loved, it's so much easier to go forth and do the work you need to do. When there is uncertainty around that, it's so much harder to do the work that you're supposed to do. Anyway, this is it. I came here mid-cooking dinner, and I have my children keep coming open the door. When is dinner going to be ready, mommy? So best to go and finish, but I really felt the need to share this stuff with you, and I was kind of resisting it a little bit because I'm talking about love, and I'm supposed to be helping people with their business and making money and all that kind of stuff. And there's always a part of me that thinks some of the crazy stuff I do, sometimes how much deeper crazy do I need to go? But then I recognize, you know what? Why would I want to live less than the fullness that is me? And thank the heavens, thank God, I have the courage to do it now, because in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. What matters, I know that I'm loved. I know that I'm loved. Yeah, I'm going to put people off, but the people that I'm called to speak to, those are the ones that I care about. Those are the ones that I will say what needs to be said so that you guys can release the pain and start moving in freedom. Start moving in abundance, because it is your birthright. It is your birthright. You were not created to struggle all the time. It is your birthright to feel loved, to feel free, to feel abundant. Okay? And at the very heart of this will come the question, do you feel that you are loved? Affirm with me this last one time. I know I'm not giving you complete solutions here, because it's an ongoing training thing here where you train yourself, to start accepting love, okay? But then it's also it's not something you're going to listen to. Well, for some of you, maybe you'll listen to this and that will heal you. But for some of you, it will be an ongoing, okay, I recognize now where the roots of my problems are. And I now start to affirm that I am loved. And I start to look for opportunities to feel loved. So I start to do the things that kind of bubble up inside of me, because I know that spirit is trying to get my attention and take me towards a feeling or towards someone who can help me with sorting this stuff out. Because there's always a solution. You must believe, first and foremost, that there is an abundance of love and you are not outside of it. One last time. I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. I choose to believe that I am loved. In fact, what I would encourage you to do, if you are in that place right now, whether you're listening to replay or right now, you could just stand up and just kind of stretch your hands out and choose to kind of almost like feel inside of you this sense of love inside of you and all around you, okay? Because it is there. You just haven't opened yourself up to it, and it's a decision that you make to be a little bit crazy right now. Stand up, spread your arms out, close your eyes, and just sing with me here. I am loved. I am loved. I am loved. I choose to believe that I am loved. And again. Much love, guys. Open my eyes to hearts. That's so awesome. Thank you very, very much, guys. But I really want you to take this on board. I really want you to take this on board. You are loved. You are worthy of every single dream within your heart. Okay? To finish with, I do want to make this invitation to you guys to join me for the brain training for Deliberate Millionaires, because I know that this will help you guys to start to make these decisions to really own, well, one, where your thinking is taking you, so that you are open, you are opening yourself to spirit reaching you, okay, and creating success for you, helping you to get to the place where you are doing the things that you are called to do, okay? As I said, at the very heart, at the very foundation, you need to know that you are loved. But I tell you this, whilst you are still kind of caught up in crazy thinking, in crazy ideas about what is possible for you, you will not allow that love into your heart, because there's a part of you that is trying to pretend you don't need it. You do. But we start to change the way we think about this stuff so that we can start to think rich, okay? And when I say rich, I don't just mean money. When I say think rich, I want it to influence every part of your life. You start to think rich, every area of your life starts to be better. You start to act from those thoughts. You start to act rich. You start to welcome love into your life in all areas. Love in terms of money, love in terms of relationships, love in terms of health, taking care of yourself. Every area of your life starts to open up because you've changed the way you're thinking, okay? Because your thinking is taking you in all kinds of weird and wonderful directions that you don't want to go in. So you start to think rich, you start to act rich, and then you get rich. And that's what this brain training for Deliberate Millionaires is about. It is about taking you through a series. This is going to be over an 8-week period. I just need from you about 5, 10, 15 minutes every morning where, I'll just deliver almost what I would call a devotional. If you're a Christian, that's what I call it, but it's really not. It's, I don't know what another word for it, okay? Where literally I will just deliver to you some words for you to read, affirmations to say, and ways to train your brain to think differently for an 8-week period. So there'll be 40 of these things delivered to you, 5 days on, 2 days off, 5 days on, 2 days off. And all I'm asking you to do is have 5 to 10 to 15 minutes of quiet time every day, just to sit with this stuff and start to think rich instead of thinking poor, okay? Because that's what you've been doing to date. But you want to move to a whole new level, honey? Then it's time that we changed where your mind was taking you. Anyway, I better go and cook my dinner. Guys, it's been an amazing time. I'm glad I did that, okay? As I said, there was a little bit of resistance around it, but I'm so blessed to have been this blessing to you guys right now, because I know for some of you, it's exactly what you needed to hear. Share, share, share. Thanks, Foxy, for doing that. Remember that you are loved. Sing the affirmation. Stand with your arms out and just receive the love, because it's all around you. It's abundant. You can start to receive it by making a decision, and then you'll start to see opportunities for you to really own it come into your life, okay? For people to help you step away from a feeling of shut myself away because nobody really needs to see the real me, to open up and know that actually the real me is enough. I best go look at my food. Guys, it's time to fight for and to deliberately design the life you're born to live because you absolutely want to. It's been such a pleasure. Much love, my honeys. That's why I end with this all the time, because it's the very heart of everything we need is love, okay? So much love. Until the next time, it's been an absolute pleasure. Bye.